Hi, I'm Andy Wible, and welcome to Timely Topics. Today we're going to be talking to Rob Sisson, President of Conserve America, about the 25 by 25 Ballot Initiative that we all should be thinking about come November. And so, why don't I introduce Rob Sisson? Welcome, Rob.
Good to be here. Nice to meet you, Andy.
Nice to meet you as well. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Conserve America and then the 25 by 25 initiative?
Conserve America was founded in 1995 by a group of Republicans who had concerns about the party's direction and the lost legacy of the party, which we believe is a great conservation tradition. We're national, we have state chapters, we have members in all 50 states. And I took over as president 3 years ago, and because I'm a resident of Michigan, I was able to move the headquarters to Michigan too.
Oh, great.
The 20 by 25 initiative is a ballot proposal that will appear this November. Everyone in Michigan will have a chance to vote on it. And when it passes, it will require Michigan to receive 25% of its electricity from clean and renewable energy sources by the year 2025.
Okay, and what are the clean and renewable resources?
Essentially, any source of energy that does not pollute the air with global warming gases, soot, or toxic chemicals.
And what would be some examples of those?
Most commonly that we think of today are wind and solar.
Okay.
But by the year 2025, who knows what other sources we may come up with.
I see. And this initiative, why 25% and why at year 25? I guess it's catchy. Is that one reason? Or
well, no, there's several reasons. One, we really believe that 25% is doable. Michigan currently has a 10% renewable energy standard that we've made great progress on ahead of schedule. Neighboring states, Minnesota, Illinois, Ohio have similar standards right now, so they're a little bit ahead of Michigan. 30 states in the union have some form of renewable energy standard. So we believe that 25% is doable, and we believe the year 2025 gives utility companies the opportunity to plan and implement that strategy.
Okay, and so when you say we believe it's doable, is that with current technology? Is that with hope for better?
With current technology.
Okay,
yes.
And will this mean we have windmills all around and solar power in everybody's houses? Or what will this look like?
You know, it's going to be up to the market to determine that. It could be windmills. Right now we have turbines being built throughout areas of Michigan, and I think of Mason County, north of here, where the citizens and business community has been very welcoming of wind power. Actually, earlier this year, the Michigan Public Service Commission released a study that said energy from wind turbines now is less expensive than energy from new coal-fired plants.
From new
coal-fired plants.
But I suppose the energy companies will say, well, we've got these old coal-fired plants and we've already paid for those. That's
right. Well, one of the facts in this initiative is that many of the coal-fired plants in existence today where we get our energy from are scheduled to be replaced sometime in the near future. And so now that we know that wind energy is less expensive than new coal, it makes sense to transition to those older plants as they become obsolete or transitioned offline.
Right, and locally here in Muskegon County, we've got the Cobb plant, which is scheduled, I think, to go out of existence in the next 10 years or so.
Right.
And so you'd like to see, rather than build another coal plant to replace that energy need,
wind, solar, biomass, or any other form of new clean energy. One fact about coal, and I don't think it's lost on Michiganders, is we have no coal mines in Michigan. And we send nearly $2 billion a year out of state to purchase coal. And I have an economic background. I can imagine that $2 billion spent here in the state on clean and renewable energy would create jobs, it would multiply through the economy, and would have a great impact on our economy.
Well, where are the turbines made and solar panels now? Would we be bringing those in, or if we pass this initiative, would it mean we'd have those jobs here?
We believe the jobs would be largely created here in Michigan, and part of the requirement would be Michigan-sourced products, or within the region that our utility companies currently obtain energy. Michigan has an incredible reputation for manufacturing, and our workforce has an incredible reputation for building things. With the recession, we have a lot of excess capacity right now. You know, during World War II, Michigan became known as the arsenal of democracy because we transitioned our manufacturing plants to the defense industry. I believe that we can transition our manufacturing prowess to clean and renewable energy, not only be more competitive with our neighboring states and the rest of the country, but we could become a powerhouse globally in the clean and renewable energy sector.
And that's probably because if an initiative like this, we'd be kind of on the forefront, and when you do that, that usually means the jobs will start there and stay there.
That's correct.
Mm-hmm. So we'd be building not just those turbines and solar panels for Michigan, but for other states that grow that industry.
And countries.
And countries,
right. Yeah.
Huh. And okay, so one might ask about this initiative, the ballot initiative, is why take it to people like me? Why not say have the legislature pass this? Or why haven't they passed something like this? Why take it to the voters?
Well, that's a good question, because this is a constitutional amendment, which is not the first choice of conservatives like me, but we see it as our only option. The Michigan electricity market is not an open, free market. In fact, it's a monopoly. And that monopoly is controlled largely by two companies right now. They have no economic incentive to diversify or welcome competition to the electrical markets. The legislature, as we've seen in recent years, doesn't have the spine to pick up and pass good public policy if there is well-funded opposition to that policy. Case in point would be the new bridge between Windsor and Detroit that Canada wants to pay for. It would have incredible positive economic impact for Michigan with thousands of new construction jobs, easier trade with our largest partner, Canada. But because there's one wealthy individual who opposes that
owns the bridge.
That owns the existing bridge, our legislature is not helping facilitate the new bridge. It's the same thing with this public policy of receiving 25% of our energy from clean sources. You have two monopolies in the state, DTE and Consumers Power, who don't welcome that competition. They're pumping millions of dollars into this opposition, and the legislature will not pick this up. So it's left to the citizens. This option is in our Constitution. The Constitution has been completely rewritten 3 times since it was originated and amended 17 times by citizen initiative. And this past year, or the past 6 months, 560,000 Michigan voters signed the petition demanding this be put on the ballot.
Wow. And so you're suggesting that the legislature won't handle this because they're basically in the pockets of these big power companies that don't want to change.
I would not say that they're in the pockets. I would say the political reality is there are pressures to not support this public policy, and the repercussions may be competition in a primary race or lack of support on other policy initiatives the legislature does want to pass.
I see. And we've seen with the bridge that you mentioned as a similar situation. I probably got 5 postcards or flyers saying oppose it, and multiple TV commercials. Do you think the 25 by 25 initiative will see the power companies supporting advertising that opposes it?
Oh yeah, we're seeing that right now.
Okay.
And it's kind of it's a cute campaign they're running. On one hand, they'll run ads, and I've seen on television recently, Consumers runs an ad, and then it's immediately followed by an ad from DTE promoting how great they're doing in the green energy sector.
I see.
And then, a few days later, you see an ad or a mailing about in opposition to this 25 by 25 initiative.
Huh. So they're just leave us alone. We'll do fine.
Yeah.
We're taking care of it.
In reality, it's not an open, free market right now in Michigan.
Right. In the utility industry, for electric power. So why would connected to this, why would a conservative group, you mentioned you don't prefer constitutional amendments, but why would a conservative group support more regulation to encourage clean energy. It seems like we're generally hearing, more free market solutions, not government mandates.
Well, step back. What we have today is not a free open market. This initiative, if passed, will create competition and force diversification of our Michigan energy portfolio, which as a conservative, that's great. I want competition. I want diversification. And thinking ahead 10 years or to succeeding generations of Michiganders, my belief is that by diversifying our portfolio and bringing in clean energy to the mix, we'll actually have lower energy costs in the future. Right now, Michigan has some of the highest electricity rates in the nation. And so I believe this will be good for consumers, this will be good for business in the long run.
Okay, so if it makes sense to me if the clean energy is just as cheap or cheaper, why not go with that? But I'm sure a lot of people will be worried, I'm going to pay more for this 25% initiative. I'm not sure I want to do that. And if we hear about natural gas prices, for example, being quite low right now.
Right.
What happens if they go lower?
The initiative includes a limitation for price increases to 1% per year.
Okay.
Okay, so consumers are protected. The prices cannot increase more than 1% a year. There's actually an escape valve in the legislation that if the energy companies find out that they just can't meet this goal, or it's too expensive to meet this goal and they'd have to pass those costs on to consumers, that the deadline would be extended to permit them more time to roll it in without impacting cost as much.
I see. So who would determine that, though? Can we take their word for it that it would be too expensive to make that transition, or will it be a commission or something?
Yeah, traditionally in Michigan, the Michigan Public Service Commission, which is a bipartisan commission of people appointed by the governor, would make that determination.
Oh, okay. So that's good. It's not just them telling us we can't do it.
That's right.
Right. Okay. And would there be, if they, let's say the commission determines, no, you can do this, and they say, well, but we're not. Would there be penalties upon the energy companies, or how would that work?
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay. Well,
to be honest.
Yeah. I suppose maybe they have the power to enforce that.
Right.
I'm not sure. The commission does, at least. Of course, one big reason, or maybe the biggest reason, to have this initiative is for the clean part of it, to protect our environment. How would a 25% usage of renewable clean energy help protect our environment?
It'd have a significant impact in global warming gases emitted, in soot and other toxins that are emitted into our atmosphere, a 25% reduction. Here in West Michigan, I think most of us are fairly in tune with our natural resources, and we're warned by the Department of Natural Resources not to eat fish more than once a month or once a year, depending on if you're a woman of childbearing age or whatever, because of mercury contamination. The number one source for mercury in our environment is from burning fossil fuels. So we would see a 25% reduction of mercury emitted into our environment. 600,000 babies are born every year in the United States with an already unsafe level of mercury in their bodies. Wow. That manifests itself in learning disabilities, emotional, cognitive issues, which taxpayers end up paying the bill for over the lifetime of those babies. So, a 25% reduction is huge.
Yeah, that's true. Wow. Also, would global warming factor into this as well? That we're having an incredibly hot summer.
There would be a significant decrease by Michigan utility companies in the amount of global warming gases that they pump into the atmosphere. Now, the problem with global warming is it's a global issue.
Right.
But it does, again, in my sense as an American, as a Michigander, as a Republican, is that someone needs to step up and take the leadership on this. I'm proud that this is appearing on our ballot and that Michigan will have a chance to be a national and global leader in this issue.
Yeah, and if we can do it, others probably will
exactly.
follow.
And you know, with other technologies that we've seen in our lifetime, I would expect by the year 2025 that we will have made advances in the clean and renewable field that maybe are such great leaps forward that we don't need fossil fuels anymore, and that we would have a much larger decrease in emission of toxic chemicals and global warming gases.
Okay. And are other states doing more than us now, or less? Or?
Well, 30 states in the country right now have some form of renewable energy standard. Many have the 25% goal right now, including Minnesota, Illinois, and Ohio, which are 3 of our major competitors in the Midwest. Right. Illinois announced a couple weeks ago, their Department of Labor, that the #1 sector for job growth in their state was in the clean and renewable energy sector, and they directly attributed it to their standard that they have in place.
Wow. Yeah. And so this is partially just to keep up with everyone else, right? And did they pass their through ballot initiatives, or was it?
Each state is a different situation. Some were ballot initiatives, some were legislatively established.
I see. Okay. And so we've talked about jobs. We've talked about the environment. It will only go up 1% per year. Is that right?
Correct.
During those, once the ballot initiatives pass.
Correct.
And do you have to? I mean, is it kind of nothing until the 25, or do they have to slowly ramp up over the years?
They would slowly ramp up.
Right, so they can be ready for it when that time period ends. And then, does your group that's supporting this project 50% by 2050, or I mean, are you just at this point though concerned about 25?
We're just concentrating on the 25 by 25 initiative. Mm-hmm. But again, because there's a lack of competition right now in the market, there hasn't been the energy and research and development put into clean and renewable energy that we'd like to see. Mm-hmm. The federal government subsidizes the coal and oil industry to the tune of about $12 billion a year. Clean and renewable energy sources don't receive that kind of support from the government. So this initiative will spur innovation and development in clean and renewable energy field. So my expectation is that we will shoot through the 25% and achieve a higher percentage, just because the technology is then available and practical for Michigan.
Okay. And will this initiative supply any money for research and development, or will it just be that standard that will get us there?
Right. This is, again, this initiative to me is a great example of conservative policy. The citizens set the goal, 25%, and then we get out of the way and let the marketplace determine the best and most efficient way to get there.
I see. So it's not going to be like we've heard about giving Solyndra, or at least
the state will not.
Money.
The state's not going to favor one clean energy source over another. It will be up to the marketplace, the utilities to determine how to get there.
Good. Okay, and I suppose your group works with others. I mean, this seems like you're a conservative group working on this, but I know there's a group called Citizens Action that's a pretty liberal group that would probably be in favor of something like this. Are you working with other groups on this initiative?
There are some central points of communication where we can keep on top of breaking news and information. There's a central website that's called MIEnergy, mijobs.com.org.
Okay.
I think both work. Where daily updates are provided, news releases and press coverage is posted, so people can stay on top of it. But there's enough appeal to this that it really appeals to the entire political or
the whole spectrum.
Whole spectrum, right? The left of center environmental groups like it because it's going to have tremendous environmental impact on the state. Conservative groups like me, Saul Anuzzi, who is the former Republican chair for the party in Michigan and a national committee man, supports this for economic and business reasons. Mm-hmm. Saul was an entrepreneur, and he achieved great success in the telecommunication industry when that was deregulated and competition was brought to that monopoly. he sees the same opportunities here for Michigan entrepreneurs in the clean energy sector.
I see. And so do you see you see this, conservative, liberal, independents working together on this initiative. Do you worry, though, about some things I've heard from some conservatives that global warming doesn't exist? Maybe, does this mean we're going to have to put a wind turbine on our car? I'm not sure that was really said, but it was attributed to Romney. Do you worry about some of these things that are kind of out there from the conservative side?
Well, in my job as president of Conserve America, I see that every day from all corners of the country. The fact of the matter, climate science is settled.
Okay.
It has to be completely ideological, dogmatic to not understand that. You can go to DTE's website, Consumers Power website, and they have climate change policies, how they're going to address it on there. The power companies accept climate change as being real. So, no, I don't worry about that. The biggest concern that we're hearing from fellow conservatives is we shouldn't mess with the Michigan Constitution. Mm-hmm. We need to do this either through other market mechanisms, which I've explained aren't really available to us because it's a monopoly, or legislatively. And as we've seen, Lansing really isn't working very well for the citizens right now.
Right. One other thing that I think some people might be concerned about is that if you go to Meyer, you see these little turbines on their roof. And I'm not sure they provide a lot of energy for Meyer, but it makes them look green. I read recently that Consumer Reports bought a turbine that's made for homes, and they put it on the roof of their headquarters. And they said they've produced enough energy for one window air conditioner. Is there a difference between what might be solar power for someone's home or wind power for someone's home, and what can be done with a larger scale turbine and larger scale solar power that would provide energy through our electrical grid?
Yeah, of course there's differences. Although Michigan has great potential for wind energy, there are certain areas that are much better than other areas. I live in St. Joseph County, down by the Indiana border. When you look at wind maps, we're not a very good area for wind energy. Mm-hmm. But Michigan is at the same parallel as Germany. And 2 months ago, Germany achieved a milestone where they generated 50% of their energy from solar sources on one given day. Wow. So there is no reason why Michigan couldn't move forward with solar energy as well.
All right. Connected to that, some people say, gosh, this is going to require turbines in Lake Michigan that'll clutter our skyline.
Yeah. Viewsheds are a concern. Mm-hmm. Congressman Fred Upton is a friend of mine, and I can remember him saying several years ago that he could envision, or he had seen a study about a windmill farm going right down the spine of Lake Michigan that wouldn't be visible from the shoreline, mm-hmm. but would generate enough energy to power Michigan. Now, technically, how close we are to making that feasible, I don't know. What the cost is, I don't know. But the viewshed, not in my backyard, is always going to be a concern. A personal story. My wife's family is from Benton County, Indiana. Benton County's home of the largest wind farm east of the Mississippi. Nearly 700 turbines in place right now. My mother-in-law is almost 90 years old, comes from a farm family. My expectations were she was going to hate this development. Mm-hmm. She loves it. She says, I look out, I see those lights blinking at night. I think of all the jobs for kids here in town that are staying in town now, and I think of all the money the farmers are getting paid for land rent, and I think of the clean energy. This is just amazing. I'm so glad I lived to see this.
Oh, that's neat. Yeah. That's neat. And the view thing, I drive every day by the Cobb plant, and I don't consider it a very beautiful thing to see. So I think a wind turbine would be perhaps prettier than that.
That's one of the memes you see on social media now is a solar spill and the problems that sunshine spills cause for people, or wind spills, compared to oil spills or coal ash spills.
Yeah. All right. Well, this ballot initiative will be on our November ballot. You can probably, we can look before we go to vote and read what exactly it'll say. Are there any, if you could give like 2-3 reasons you think someone should vote for this to wrap things up, what would you say to
Sure.
people?
Well, Michigan State University released a study 2 weeks ago that forecasts 74,000 to 114,000 new jobs created because of this initiative. So if you're concerned about Michigan's economy and jobs, this initiative will generate a minimum of 74,000 jobs according to Michigan State University. Those are good, well-paying jobs. That's reason one. Reason two is diversification of our energy sector, where we get our electricity. That's smart business, and I think it's smart for the future of Michiganders. And third, I truly believe that this initiative will revitalize Michigan's manufacturing sector and make us a global power in manufacturing again.
All right, great. Well, thank you very much, Rob. Appreciate you being on the show.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in today. We've been talking to Rob Sisson, President of Conserve America, and about the 25 by 25 ballot initiative, which will be on your November ballot. Stay informed, and until next time, have a great day.